and go for it. We talked about crime at the beginning of the last.
Yeah, so the last one we had to cut out so much. Literally about 5 minutes.
I'm stupid, by the way, so just I can't. I have like if you start talking about crime, I would just be like, I don't know what to say. I'm scared.
No, you don't know that. We'll start off easy. Were you gigging last night, Amelia?
I was, yeah.
What were you doing last night?
I was doing something called Nocturnal Arts. It was a scratch night. Have you heard of a scratch night?
I have not heard of a scratch night.
It's very cool, actually. It's basically like new ideas, right? But like you can do like theatre if you want, comedy, music, but I'm writing a new show and it has this bit that I was too scared to try at just like a normal comedy night. I'll explain why and you'll understand why I wouldn't just go up on at like Top Banana and be like, guys, this is my new bit. But it's about working in a call centre or like working from home.
Okay. So
it's like me with like a headset on, you know, like the classic. It almost looks like a Britney mic.
Yeah, okay.
You know,
okay,
that's what I said to myself when I was... I was like, you're basically Britney, like...
Right.
And it was like a bit where I'm wearing that headset and singing. It's kind of acting out singing in my room when I was working, getting interrupted by calls. So I'll be like singing at the start, I'm singing Britney Spears' Baby One More Time. And then I'm like, boop. And I'm like, oh my God, hello, you're through to Amelia. So that was the bit, but it actually worked.
Yeah.
So that's going to be the start of my show. I bet I'll try it again. It'll just die on its arse.
Do it the next Spandex.
I can't.
No,
I can't. I feel like... Has anyone ever done anything that isn't just like sort of comedy?
No.
I'm not going to do it then.
No, well, you take the most risks out at Spandex, so just do it.
There was a period where I would go to Spandex and I'd be like, Ralph, I've got like 2 new songs I'm going to try. There was a period and they were just dying on their ass.
No.
Like, seriously, for months. And only recently has it started to shift. But I honestly, I was literally close to like having a breakdown. But yeah.
Because you did one was it last week you were on? And beforehand you went, I'm going to do a song. And then you saw who else was in the lineup. You went, I'm not going to do the song.
Yeah, no, do you know that way where you go to a new material night and you just think,
oh yeah.
It's like, it's the people that were like, when I started, were headlining, and you know, you always feel like you want to impress them.
Yeah.
You're like absolute legends, and I was like, Ralph, I was like, I've been singing this song all day, working on it, I'm not doing it, and you went, you have to do it.
Yeah, you have to. What was the song again? The song was...
Don't You Want Me by Human League.
Don't You Want My Human League, and it was all about a nut allergy.
So it went, nut allergy, baby.
Yeah. And the whole room is singing it by the end.
I know, and the thing is that you were like, Amelia, I think that worked really well. Like, people are singing along. I'm like, they weren't laughing.
No, I think you kind of came to the conclusion there was 3 laughs in there.
And everyone goes, you can't die on your ass as a musical comedian. You can.
Can
like,
you?
Yes, you can be singing a song to a full room. And they just act like you're like, you know, someone doing like this sort of guitar in the edge of a pub, like singing Hallelujah, and they're just chatting over you. Like, so it's a real like specific kind of death, you know.
I've never had that kind of death. What can you like? Has there been a song you've tried and it's just gone so bad that you've never done it again?
Well, no, the worst thing of all is when you try a new bit at an open mic night and the first time you do it, for some weird reason, it does well.
Yeah,
and you think, this is going straight into the weekend set.
Yeah, I've done that so many times.
And you literally try it at your very next gig or next open mic, new material night, and it might even be one that's even set up even better. Do you know that way? Like, I try it at like Top Banana, like that's a really well run set up night. It's busy, you know what I mean? And then you try it and it's like silence. And the weird thing about musical comedy is you can't really reverse out of it.
Yeah, once you're in it, once you've started a song about a nut allergy, you can't just fucking be like, we'll just quit that one.
You do 3 minutes or something and it's just... I feel like, you know, you start like a stand-up bit, because I also do stand-up like sometimes between songs, and I always think, I can just reverse out, and you just kind of speak over the bit where there's been silence, you know?
But even then, when you say it's not going well, it always gets a laugh. Because I think even when you're like doing the new material, you go, well, that was shit.
Yeah. You can't do that in a song. Well, this is going shit. Well, you know, actually I did do that recently. I went, this is not making it to my Glasgow Comedy Festival show. But yeah, the song was a song which I thought was like so relatable, by the way.
Okay.
I
love your version of relatable.
No, this was me trying to be relatable.
Okay.
Fruit flies. How is that not relatable?
I couldn't even tell you what a fruit fly is, Amelia. I have no idea. Is that like a common problem you have in your life?
I think it might be a Glasgow problem.
Okay, Glasgow. So what was the song about?
So it went like this. Tell me, why do I have fruit flies in my house when I haven't bought fruit since 2012?
And did it go well?
Well, what I did it in Glasgow did well.
Big problem with fruit flies on that side of the country.
And then I tried it, I think, in like Edinburgh or even in a different part of Glasgow, and it was honestly silence.
Yeah.
And I just thought, I honestly, when I wrote that song, I thought this is my Peter Kay era. Do you know what I mean? Like I really thought I was so relatable.
So you could have got these scratch nights and just tried all this shit out.
Well, the scratch night thing was trying out like a more theatre-y. I say theatre, it was just basically pretending to be like working from home with like a headset on. So imagine like this, but with like, you know, the little mic.
A little headset.
It was cool though. It was set up.
I can imagine from what you're describing, is a very like kind of cool, arty people.
Yeah, really supportive.
All right, so my set would not fit in there.
I don't know. I think it's really
You're very
funny.
polite, Amelia. You've been very polite. It wouldn't fit in there.
You might have to make some amendments.
Yeah, a few tweaks. I can't imagine doing my set when it's something like that.
But you know, like a supportive audience.
I mean, if anything, I like it when they're not supportive, Amelia. I like quite a confrontational crowd, especially if you're trying new stuff. I think it makes it funnier. I'd rather they were like kind of a bit like rowdy than just sitting there like, that was lovely.
I mean, the last time I did spandex was so funny.
Oh my God, that was
because I was pissing myself.
Wild.
I was like, I just want to see how Ralph actually like gets. I don't know what you're going to do because
I had no idea what I was going to do either. So for context, it was. I mean, the room was packed of like every different kind of nationality you can think of. There was about like 50 people in there. They're all from different countries, and all the people in the audience started shouting at each other. They started turning on each other, and it got like quite feisty between the two girls to the point where I was just like, I'm actually gonna have to break up a fight here. And I could see everyone in the doorway looking at me like, fucking good luck with this, Ralph. And I was on stage, and then this English guy started shouting at an American guy at the back of the room like, you bomb people, you've got no right to say this. And I was just like, oh my God, what the fuck is going on here? It was tough.
What did you actually do? I don't remember.
I think I just told them all to just calm the fuck down. And that we're out to have a comedy night and to start bringing up like war crimes of another country, because that's what they kept doing about the Americans. And I was like, now is not the time. Honestly, Colin, this room was like, I've never seen it like it. And then a girl who was like, oh, my name's French. A French girl in the second row went, your name's not fucking French. And then she went, what do you think? And then it just kind of like started sniping, and the whole room's like, Jerry Springer. And I'm like, oh shit. And I'm like, where the fuck do we go from here? Because that's never happened.
That sounds amazing.
I was genuinely just like, I kind of was excited to see what you would do. Do you know what I mean? Because you kind of, when you see someone that you've known for a long time, like in a sticky situation, you're like, well, how's he gonna like pull it out of the bag?
Yeah, but at the same time, you have to stand at the side and be like, good luck, you're in it by yourself.
Yeah.
I'm not helping you out. Yeah.
I just remembered the last time I did spandex before that time, I was doing a bit and I said, I can hear Ralph laughing, but it's not the laughing that he's laughing like with me, like at my material. He's laughing because this is going bad. Like, and there's a difference. You can tell, I think, when you've worked with people for a while and gigged with people, start to know their different laughs. And like, I couldn't really impersonate it now, but if I heard it, I would know. Because
I think you got to a bit and you just essentially just went, oh, that didn't go well, or something, and I was outside the room and I pissed myself laughing.
I'm like just trying to write a new show at the moment, and the show is called Singing Lessons, and it's about like working in pensions. And I think I'm kind of realizing it's about working that job and kind of just like becoming very like having bad writer's block.
Okay.
And like losing a lot of creativity, because I don't know if you worked a job like that, but even if like you are finished work at 5. Like after 5, I would always just like I couldn't think.
Yeah,
It's so weird.
so I've got a day job, and I have to get up and write before the job starts at 9, which is a fucking struggle.
Yeah.
Because by the end of the day, by like 5, half 5, my brain's done.
It's weird, isn't it?
That's like, I have to do it. If I'm writing, I will get up maybe like 6:30 or something like that. Just like hit like a few strong coffees and then just be like fucking wired. Just because if I get to the end of the day, I'm just going to go to sleep after work. Can't do it.
You're like those influencers that post on Instagram their schedule and it's like, get up 5 a.m, 6:30, 2 strong coffee. Grind culture. You're just toxic, bringing your toxic grind culture energy into this podcast.
I know we've thought, but that's the thing. In their world, you don't then just fall asleep at 5:30 on the couch and then have a pizza delivered an hour later. That's not part of their world. I've got like an hour where I could be like, right, I can write, and then I'm fucking done for the day.
But that's cool doing it in the morning. Apparently, that is like a good thing to do.
Oh my god, am I a toxic grind culture?
No, I'm just.
Oh my god, I can't believe I'm an influencer.
Hustle culture, baby.
Hustle culture, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah.
Hustle culture. I only learned about that a few months ago, and now
It's
here I am, a part of it. Fucking little twat. A hustle culture twat. What a fucking asshole. Sorry, everyone.
Yeah, you should be sorry, but I never like clocked that. Like you can get up before work because it was like from home. I was like, if I started at 9, I would like set my alarm for like 9:15.
Oh, yeah,
Do you know what I
yeah.
mean? And I would like literally like not shower and the blinds would be closed.
I need to make it. This doesn't happen every morning. This is once every 2 weeks when I'm like I need to do some writing. I was like, well, you're not going to do it after work, so you need to do it before work. So that's it. So there's my hustle culture. Once every fortnight, get up at 6:30 a.m. Fucking hell, what a loser I am. Apologies.
I think that's like iconic and like
Amelia, I have never been described.
But you're being honest about it. Do you know
iconic.
what I mean?
You get described as iconic quite a lot.
But I think it's because I describe other people as iconic, so it forces them to do it back. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like with, like when you have like a love language with a partner, and I think sometimes if your love language is gifts, then sometimes you could like buy the other person gifts, and then you might start do it back. I don't know, or maybe it is gifts. Yeah. I was just thinking about that because it's Valentine's Day.
Yeah, you're like, fuck, I need to get some presents for Valentine's Day.
I don't know. But yeah, I was saying about like my show. So it's about giving up pensions and then like having writer's block still after. And then basically my family are like actors and like singers in London, and they're from New Zealand originally. They're quite eccentric, to say the least. Yeah. Like,
that doesn't surprise me, Amelia. Having known you for about 7 years, the fact that your family are eccentric is no surprise.
They're like, so they're all like actors, singers, all that kind of thing. Right, okay. And even like when people got divorced, they remarried other actors. Do you know what I mean? So it's like even like my granny is like an actor, you know. So
holy shit.
But yeah, I went to visit them a few months ago, and they were like, "Oh, you should start like singing again." So I just started to do like singing lessons and like
proper lessons.
Yeah. And like been singing kind of more. It's like music hall and like musicals and stuff. But I feel like I've finally started to get like write songs that have got some laughs, which is really good. No more like fruit fly songs with 3 minutes of silence, which is like really good. I'm like, wow, that's because it has been such a long period of not being able to write many new comedy songs. I feel like the problem is that it's not really edgy. Do you know what I mean? It's not cool.
Well, you don't want to be edgy. No, fucking edgy now is just fucking people just going, you can't say anything anymore.
Right. I mean edgy as in like edgy, like going to Germany, listening to techno, eating a kebab. Do you know what I mean?
That's
going to Burger. I just feel like now I've like just completely lost any sort of edge. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I mean, that just happens. Yeah. I mean, like 10 years ago, I would have loved to have gone to the Berghain. You couldn't fucking pay me to go there now. I could never do that now. I just physically can't do it anymore. So yeah, I mean, maybe I've done a few festivals since then, but nah, can't do it. What age are you?
20. Well, actually, I'm not going to say. I'm 21.
21. Amelia is 21. Even though I've known you for 7 years, which means you started comedy at 14.
I was thinking about this the other day, right? You know how everyone you sort of go, I've been doing comedy for like X amount of years, right? And you start at the same time as people, and And you have peers, and is that the right word? Where you're Well, it was. Do you know what got me thinking about it? Stu Murphy introduced me on stage the other day at the stand. I think it was Red Raw. I think I was doing 10, and I was really nervous. And he introduced me on stage in the best way ever. I was pissing myself. He said, "Coming up next." Oh, and he looked at my name on his bit of paper note. Been gigging with her for a while now. She's been doing comedy for 8 years and been getting laughs for 3. No, for 5. Sorry. He said that she's been getting laughs for 5.
Good.
So, and that is so factually accurate as well. I was like, fuck me. How do you literally know that for the first 3 years I got 0 laughs? But I was thinking, so that means technically, well, I'll take away 3 years because, I only started getting laughs after 3. So I'll just say it's only been 5 years.
5 years.
Pandemic, 2
so you've
years.
You've been going for 6 months.
No,
I was going to come down.
Pandemic, 2 years gone. And then the bit after the pandemic when comedy didn't open up, I've been doing comedy for 2 years. So
That's not a sum that anyone's going to live by. What a mad
so if
sum.
I've not been...
What year did you actually start?
I don't know the year, but if I ever try and work out how long I've been doing it, do you know Chortle? I was going to say it in a French accent.
What the fuck?
Chortle? No, Chortle.
Chortle, yeah.
You know the Chortle Student Comedy Award?
Yeah.
And you know how they film it?
Yeah.
I think it was one of my first gigs. I was like, yeah, film it.
Coben.
And no, oh my God, it's
We'd have
so
to put it
bad.
up. We'd have to put it up. Don't worry, we're not going to put it up.
Do you know what? It's fine. It's so cringe, and I think I'm over it now.
Yeah. Because I remember me and you used to gig loads in the beginning at Yes Bar, Tennant's Comedy Basement, and we both were not getting laughs. We went through a good run of gigs of not getting big laughs.
But it takes strength of character to keep going, or delusion.
Going. Yeah, massive amounts of delusion for us to still be doing it. Well, for me, 7 years. For you, 2 years. 2016.
Right,
2016,
because that was when I just started. But Stuart McPherson says that I used to dress like a mime.
Yeah, I can
I
see
used
that.
to wear this black polo neck, black skinny jeans, and white Reebok Classics red lipstick, and think that was so fucking edgy. Actually, you're sort of dressed
I know.
a bit like me today.
I'm literally sitting here in that exact outfit.
Is that what you wear on stage, or just for pod?
I go up on stage with the most generic clothes you can ever imagine. I will never make it to the Funny Looks podcast.
I mean, if that podcast survived more than
Amelia
7 episodes every 3 years.
Amelia does a podcast about people who dress cool on stage, and I'm still waiting on an invite because I'm never making it to the podcast.
It's not actually specific to any sort of look. It's more just about people's weird decision making. Because as a comedian, you become really neurotic. You're like, I need to wear these trainers. But you actually always used to wear Adidas Superstars.
I still do.
What are they your lucky shoe?
I'm not joking, Amelia. I've been wearing Adidas Superstars since high school. So maybe first year, second year. People have just ripped me. They've been called shell toes all my life. I love Adidas Superstars. It's my one thing that I'm just you know what it is? It's because it requires no thinking when I'm buying new trainers. I just go, oh yeah, Adidas Superstars, there we go. I've got a huge collection of just beaten up Adidas Superstars in my house. Do
you buy the same ones each time, or do you always go, I'm going to change it up slightly?
Different ones. And sometimes I get them and sometimes they're nice. Sometimes I wear them out once and people go, oh, you think they're nice, do you? Yeah, that's wrong. Yeah. So
it's the same as Dennis and It's Always Sunny. Always wears them,
I've
doesn't
never
he?
seen that.
Because he is kind of like a narcissistic psychopath. But he's
so
funny.
Essentially, thank you very much, narcissistic psychopath.
Similar
vibes. I have been described as that in the past. Fucking hell, yeah. I go up, I've got a very bland look on stage. I'll never be described as iconic.
Everyone that comes on my podcast gets described as iconic.
Yeah, if you shop at H&M, you're never going to be iconic.
But we were talking about raving.
Yeah, you go to you got sober raves.
Sober raves, yeah.
What are sober raves like? I can't even imagine what that's like.
So I've been to a few now, and
let's for context. You've been sober for
4.5 years.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so I did go to just normal clubs where people were still mad with it. Do you know what I mean? I still did that.
Yeah, that must be tough.
I mean, you're sort of occasionally people can fall into you, whatever, but I just sort of try and find a spot and just dance
at
and
the back.
Yeah, or just find a spot where I feel comfortable and but these ones, it's other people who are like sober as well. And I feel like that the first one I went by myself.
Good.
Like I literally just went and
you might as well.
I was like, they started like 7:30 or something. On a Sunday.
Fucking
so
hell.
I think I got on the bus and because the subway was off, so I like had my tunes on. I was wearing like a Fred Perry tracksuit bottoms, I think. Thought that was a good look.
Nice.
And I went and it was like there were just a few people in the dance floor that all knew each other and I just sort of started dancing next to them.
Oh, did you go make friends?
Yeah, I made friends.
Hi, I'm Amelia.
Do you know what they have though at these things that you just wouldn't get in a normal club situation?
What have we got?
Biscuits.
Fucking hell.
And like a buffet. You would not get that at any other club situation. Nobody is eating a fucking egg mayo sandwich.
Is that the kind of buffet it is?
Yeah, it's really good, but I love it.
I can't imagine everyone just someone's jaws just swinging and then they just go up and have a chicken drumstick in the buffet.
But the other night I drank way too much Red Bull and I couldn't sleep. I felt mad with it. Honestly,
Is that what everyone's doing to try and get through the sober rave?
Some people do. I mean...
Is there anyone that goes and you're like, they're not sober, you just look absolutely out of the tits? No, everyone is genuine.
Just like genuinely like having a good time. Yeah, right. I think like it takes, I think with sober raving, it takes a little bit of time to get used to, but once you're kind of past it, like you're good. Honestly, I was really like wired after this rave because of the music and then like the caffeine and everything. And I honestly couldn't sleep and I felt mental when I was with my boyfriend. And I was like, I literally can't sleep. He was like, you're being really annoying. And to like calm me down, he just like, I was like, can you just tell me the recipe for cheesy pasta, like how you'd make cheesy pasta? And it calmed me down so much.
No way.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
No, I literally... I literally do not know what you mean. I know what the recipe is.
It was like, you just get the cheesy pasta out the packet and you get butter, like loads of butter. Like loads.
So you just needed a bit of like ASMR.
And that was the best ASMR and I swear I did calm down after that. Yeah. But I felt, do you know what? I actually felt mad with it. Do you know that way when
because you had loads of fucking Red Bull.
Like I almost was like lying there almost going like, do you think we're soulmates? Do you know that kind of shit? Do you know what I mean?
Fucking
like if I managed to, hopefully he doesn't listen to this, but I was like this, I was like, just don't say anything mental.
And you asked, oh, do you think we're soulmates?
I didn't, that was in my head. Right. I didn't say it, but I was like, just don't say anything crazy. Like you feel you're unhinged right now. Like don't propose.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
someone proposes after 3 Red Bulls. Someone's lost their mind.
That's how sensitive I am. Yeah, that's tragic. That is such a tragic sober person's story. Another one is I went to a fun fair, went on the waltzers, freaked out and had to go home, and I was like, this is so tragic. I was like, I'm like trying to make sobriety like cool, and it's like I didn't even talk about. You just by yourself
on the waltzer?
No, I was like technically on a date. This was a while ago, Halloween 2022. I remember it well because honestly was just on there and like they're playing like Cast in the Sky, like absolute banger, but the person was like, we were like, yeah, spin us more, and you know, just.
So you had to then leave a date and go, sorry, I've got too carried away on the walls.
Sorry, I'm on a permo now. And then I went to sleep at like 7 p.m. Don't know how I got talking to that. That was really unhinged.
That is fucking. I mean, this whole podcast.
The last 10 minutes, I was trying to be restrained at the start, and I feel like I've just gone full unhinged for about 10 minutes.
This is exactly what this podcast is all about.
I really hope that nobody's listening to this who I'm in a relationship with.
We can.
It's fine. Fucking keep it in. I don't care.
See, at the end of a sober rave, the lights just come up and everyone just like shakes their hand and just goes their separate ways.
The funniest thing happened at the last one because it was on a Friday and people I think were getting the bus and the train, so like they left at 11 but I stayed till 12.
Oh, you fucking rebel.
I know, guys. But it was just like a DJ and then me and like 2 other people like on the dance floor, and I was like, this is so funny because this is reminding me of like back in the day when you'd go out and you go to someone's flat and the next day it would just be you and 2 other people in the living room like doing like a trance B2B on YouTube. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, someone's got the aux
putting on
cable.
like trance classics like do you know what I mean? You'd be like Time to Burn by Storm, and then you'd be like, hold on a second, and it felt like that.
Get it in the queue.
Yeah, it felt like that just because of the fact we were just doing really kind of stupid dancing as well, you know, like
But do you get good DJs? Because do good DJs want to come and do sober nights?
Yeah, well, George Bowie played one,
Yeah.
and like who's GBX, like probably one of the biggest like radio presenters and DJs in Glasgow, and it was so busy. And do you know what they all say? They all kind of come on the mic and they're like, "Fucking respect."
Fucking respect to you, mad bastards.
That's exactly it. Like that's probably like exactly what someone said.
I thought this was going to be shite, but you lot have proved me wrong. You're actually class people. Yeah, fucking hear it now.
That's exactly the vibe. It's amazing though, and like they do comedy nights as well, and I've done them, and it's cool because I sort of talk about sobriety and be more specific.
I could do sober comedy. That's fine.
You did a well-being sober.
Fuck.
I was listening to your pods, but I didn't get to the bit where you actually explained. Like,
I mean, that was
happened.
the last like 30 seconds, the one with Gareth Waugh.
Yeah.
I did actually think for the next one, if there is a next one next year, you're welcome to come and do it.
I think I wanted to actually do this one, but I think I had something else on and I was annoyed.
But it was like in the middle of the afternoon. Look, I went, I would do a sober thing 2 weeks ago. I was like, I'm never fucking doing this again. Scrap that from the record. It was painful. But I think it's because I was doing a Saturday night club set, not changing anything. I had to do 20 minutes of that, which I was like, you would do something like Monkey Bar or something like that.
Yeah.
Not, and again, my set, not the set people at a sober comedy gig want to hear.
You needed like my nut allergy song about having a nut allergy, because that is quite family friendly in a way. Did you feel like you learned something from it?
Yeah, never do that gig again.
Because I think sometimes I have a bad gig and I think, well, what did you learn?
Wow.
Actually, this bad gig that I had years ago has been coming back to haunt me recently.
Okay, what happened?
Okay.
Wow, this sounds like it's going to be fucking... This is really
The
affected
hauntings side is like the worst bit. So, do you watch The American Office?
Yes.
Yes. So, I was obsessed with it in lockdown actually, and I used to just watch like 5 episodes a day and like was obsessed. But at this point, I hadn't actually watched it. But it was Creed Bratton.
Yeah.
Has a music career, or the person that plays Creed. I don't know if he actually has the same name. I blanked it out.
Which one's is Creed the old man?
The crazy guy. Yeah. So he does music.
No way.
Your eyebrow was like so raised there. You're like, whoa. And I got asked to do this gig, and I had been through a breakup, and I was like kind of living out a suitcase at the time. Just like my stuff was in storage.
Classic breakup story. Living out a suitcase.
It was just bad. I don't know what happened. Like it was like not like a very. It wasn't the strongest time of my life.
Okay, yeah, I can get where you're going with this. So you're living out a suitcase.
And like staying with different people, and then going to my storage unit and like getting like different outfits, That was fun.
I'm familiar with that kind of life.
But like, switching stuff around. And I did this gig, and it was at St. Luke's in Glasgow, and it was like so
cool
busy.
Venue.
It is a cool venue, and it was like sold out, and there was just like people upstairs that was all, and
So Creed from The Office is a musician.
Yeah.
And he's doing a gig at St. Luke's. What kind of music does he do?
Well, some of it is, I think, quite earnest, like country music, but then it is quite funny sometimes, and his chats are funny because so he's got this whole thing, he's making it work. That's sort of my dream, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? To be able to do some more
sincere material,
sincere songs, and then do comedy songs as well. But that you have to sort of just be, I think you have to have a certain level of success to be able to mix all your different projects
that's
in one gig.
Come with time. Yeah.
In 60 years' time, I'll be
when you're 35.
Yes, that's what. But yeah, I did this gig, and at that point I was in the phase of wearing like this yellow kind of wig and like piano tracksuit.
Yeah,
which is quite an extreme look. Do you know what I mean? Like the piano tracksuit, and yeah.
So that was just like a black tracksuit with like piano keys down the side of the arms and legs, wasn't it?
It was cool. It was actually the same person that did this top. Sports Banger and Slazenger collab to do Slazenger Banger. Love the tracksuit, but yeah, I came out in that, and it was all a lot of just like Glaswegian guys at like The American Office. Can you visualize the kind of crowd it is?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, and at the time I wasn't at the point in my sort of comedy career where I was able to change up my set to suit the crowd. Do you know what I mean? So I think
like, this is the set, we're doing the set no matter what.
Yeah, this is what I've got, and this I don't have anything fucking else. So I couldn't go up and sort of earn their respect. Now I'm wondering if I would like even do like get the respect, even if I was trying. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, let's try and act like I would do it differently today and I'll smash it. Okay, let's just pretend that. Like, yeah, I did it and my laptop fell off a stool because I had a laptop with my backing tracks. It fell off and I had to start again. And it was like pure death. Do you know what I mean? But like maybe 3 people were into it. Somebody tweeted, only Creed Bratton could get someone to support him more mental than Creed Bratton. Somebody said, I'm not sure if I'm witnessing someone having a nervous breakdown or the new Frank Sidebottom, which actually is quite a compliment because he is kind of a comedy legend. So I took that. I was like, remember that tweet forever.
Yeah,
like,
print that tweet out.
But here's the thing. That was years ago. I'm just about over it now. You know, you get...
You're not.
Well, not over it, but I really repressed that memory. Recently, I've been at sort of open mic nights and 2 like comedians, like newer comedians, have come up to me at different gigs and said, hi, nice to meet you. I said, hi, it's great to meet you. And they said, did you support Creed Bratton at St. Luke's? I was like, yeah, I was there. I was like, I died on my arse. And they said, I know. It's just like, fucking hell.
That's not escaping you anytime soon.
And then I was like, well, thank you very much. I'm not going to sleep well tonight. Like, thank you for reminding me of that.
How long were you doing on stage?
I think it must have been 20 minutes to half an hour. But it's interesting because I do exclusively music gigs as well as musical comedy, right? But there are actually 2 songs that are in both sets, and I try and act like they're not comedy songs, but they are. But I try and like deliver them like they're sort of.
Fuck
like,
yeah, these are.
like,
I get
there's this song called "Sorry for Being Such a Hot Bitch," and like when I do it in comedy, I'm like winking and like. But when I do it when it's like a serious music gig, I'm like, "Sorry for being such a hot bitch." This is a serious song, you know. So there's a couple of songs that go between the 2, but it's interesting supporting different bands because the approach is is so wildly different. I mean, obviously that's what comedians do as well, but I was supporting this band and they seemed to have quite a serious vibe. Like I felt like they were their audience was quite serious, and I was going to go up on stage in like little tiny Adidas like shorts and like a little vest because my music name is Jim Crush, and I was going to do loads of punches and like just have a laugh. But I got there and I was like, I was already wearing an outfit that I've been wearing from like doing a radio show,
right?
So it was an okay outfit, but I completely changed my vibe, and to try and like seem more like serious to the crowd, I went on stage and I was wearing like white trackies, a Benetton rugby top, and I kept my Burberry trench coat on, and I went on in the trench coat and I was like, hi guys, how's it going?
I'm Amelia Bayler, yeah.
I'm Jim Crush, let's get down and sing some bangers for you today, you know. And I totally like approached it differently, but I was like,
did that work?
It sort of did, yeah. I mean, I don't know, maybe. And then the next gig I did, I was supporting a Devo tribute act.
Really?
And that they're like an 80s like really fun band, like the tribute band We Are Not Devo. They're just their audience was really fun, and I feel like I just went on stage and was like lent a bit more towards like the sort of comedy side,
yeah.
Which is weird because obviously it is a music gig, but I sometimes think when comedy, if you have experience doing comedy, those skills are transferable to other performance-based things.
When you need to like get yourself out of a hole.
Yeah.
Like you kind of go, oh shit, I don't know what I'm doing here, and then you go, all right, let's do some crowd work, let's do a bit of that.
Or like I suppose when you're supporting, I know like there's comedy sports spots and stuff, but I just mean from the perspective of doing like music gigs. Sometimes I'll be doing a music gig and it's awkward because like there's not everyone's there yet. Some people don't even give a fuck. And I think a bit of like comedy and chatting and like having a laugh actually has been really helpful. So it's been cool to kind of...
Because a band wouldn't do that if they were supporting. They would just kind of just go, oh, here's our song.
Yeah, but sometimes I take it too far. If the audience like laugh too much, then I maybe do a bit too much like comedy chat between songs, you know.
They're like, what the fuck is this? Like, Red Raw.
Yeah. They're like, what? So it's a weird line, but I always think you always learn from trying like different kinds of gigs. So like obviously your sober one, that's a completely random type of gig, and
you do all sorts. So that's the thing. Yeah, I'm so play it safe, take no risks. You're out there doing poetry nights.
I mean, I'm not doing poetry at the poetry nights, but
you're kind of doing like scratch nights. You're doing all that stuff, and I'm out there just taking no risks whatsoever.
But I think like there's
I need to start taking risks. To be like, that's what I need to start doing it. I need to start getting out there. What risks do you think I should take this year?
A character.
Character.
Just change your whole act and just do a character.
Do a character.
What would your character be? If you had to do one.
I kind of just automatically just revert to slagging really pretentious, wanky people.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, me just go, because I think anytime I listen back to the podcast when I've done an edit, I just revert to this, like, just taking the piss out of pretentious people.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like it's my kind of go-to place for about 90% of what I want to talk about. So maybe do like a kind of pretentious wank character act.
That would be fun. I would enjoy that.
You're
if you
looking at me
actually like no, but if you were, I was like trying to imagine you embodying everything that you hate. So,
Spies. Yeah, I can't. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't take risks.
I love how much you just like slag people on your podcast. So, and you just say it so like they were a fucking nonce. Like, and you just, and then you think, is he going to say this about everything? And it's like,
yeah,
again, fucking wankers. Because you're not as much like that on stage. Like you are, like you kind of do more stories about your life, right?
Yeah.
And you're like quite self-deprecating. So it's really nice to hear like a different like voice of yours. Or
yeah, just me being very
still
angry.
The same person,
it's still the same angry person.
But you're angry at yourself a lot on stage.
Yeah. I think I do angry at myself because I think any podcast I've done, I kind of like I can't just be like. And I don't do this consciously. I'll get to the end and I'll be like, oh, I've slagged off 5 things and myself about 5 times as well.
Yeah.
Because if I just came out and just assaulted everyone verbally, I'd be like, what the fuck is this guy unhinged? So yeah, I think I tried to make myself self-deprecate quite a bit. But it's good to know it's working.
Are you... Because some people are self-deprecating on stage but don't actually have that like that self-esteem problem. Off stage, but are you fucked off stage as well?
No, I think if anything, I've got too much self-esteem, Amelia. Unfortunately, yeah.
So on stage, you're just like lying to make the audience like you, basically, and then you do your material. That's cool.
No, it's not. It's fucked. What a fucked way to approach life.
It's funny though. I sort of have quite low self-esteem in relationships where I think I'm a piece of shit. They're just gonna leave me because of just who I am, like even though it's really deep. And I was saying this to my friend and she couldn't understand. She was like, Amelia, you have a tattoo on your shoulder that says hot bitch. Yeah. Like this doesn't add up. And I'm like, it's not about how I look, it's actually just
how
about
I feel.
It's about just
how
like
I feel
who
fucking,
I am.
yeah.
So I've gone back to therapy anyway. Because I was like, this is sustainable.
I was wondering where that was going. It always comes back to
therapy. That's
therapy.
not a new bit, by the way. That's just my fucking life. But,
always comes back to therapy.
But yeah, it's interesting how you can have a different like voice on stage.
Yeah. But I think I'm quite self-aware. So if I hear myself saying something, instantly I hear it and I go, that was cringe as fuck.
Give me an example, please.
I mean, this is like episode 45 of the podcast. You can go through this podcast. At some point in any podcast, I've said something, I've gone, who the fucking hell do you think you are saying something like that? I can't think of anything on top of my head.
Like cringe, like when you're slagging other people or something about your life.
Probably something about my life. Honestly, anytime I hear myself saying something, I instantly just stop and I'll be like, oh well, listen to you fucking idiot.
You're not like super, because some comedians are like quite personal, and I feel like you tell stories about your life, like about like mishaps and like, you know, but I don't feel like you do go super deep on stage. I don't feel like you're personal. You're not going to do like a fringe show that's got
I'm not capable of that. I think everything like not capable of addressing.
In real life.
Not capable of addressing the emotions at a real level. No, I think anything I do, I'm just kind of like, I think I got into it just to kind of fuck about and have fun.
Yeah.
I can't see myself ever moving away from that. Mm-hmm. It feels like if I was to try and write a serious fringe show, I wouldn't enjoy it.
That's cool.
So I've never thought, I would like to try and win a fringe award or anything like that, because I'm just thought, that's never going to be me. I think I'd be happy just doing a club set.
That's really like fun though, to like have that like clarity about who you are and what you want from like comedy and where you want to go and stuff.
Yeah, it's I like this. Good line of question, by the way. There's some things I've even thought about. I'm going to write this. I mean, maybe I will write a fringe show, Amelia.
I have always, like ever since I was really young, written music as a way of like feeling alive or like feeling better about stuff. So I feel like maybe that's something that's gone into my comedy, where I use it to write about stuff that's happening. But also, same as you, I do love just like having fun and being silly, you know, like the Not Allergy song is
which I think is like, I think it's when you're on the lineup, it's kind of like you're out there and you can see you're having fun as well.
Yeah.
Which I think is a big part of it. It's just So if the audience see that someone's having fun, so even when you were like, oh, they weren't laughing at that nut allergy song, the fact that you were addressing it and going, well, you're not fucking laughing, you could see that they were enjoying that more. Because if you just went up and be like, sorry, what's wrong with you? This is an absolute fucking brilliant song. People would be like, this person's a weirdo.
Yeah, I definitely used to not have fun, and I think that's maybe why I have so much fun now. Like I've sort of found a lot more fun and like freedom in doing musical comedy, because you can like move around more, and like I just in my head I'm like, I am Lady Gaga right now. Like, do you know what I mean? That's what I think. Like, I'm like, you are literally a pop star. Like, even in like an open mic, there's like 5 people. I'm just like, you are rocking this. This is literally Wembley vibes.
You got fans, or you got fans that kind of follow you around? No.
Well, okay. One example. One
fan.
Single example. Well, it's actually 2 fans, but one example. I was doing a gig at Doing the Rabbit Hole, but I was doing like a music set, like Gym Crush. As I said, very serious, definitely not still musical comedy in a different context. But these people came and they brought Tupperware, but that's like a song that I do as my musical comedy song, and then they were like annoyed that I didn't do it, and I was like,
wow, your fans. And you didn't play the banger.
I didn't know they were there. I would have fucking done it. Do you know what I mean? I would have been like, fuck it, let's do it.
That's like the Rolling Stones not playing Brown Sugar or something like that. But you kind of go fucking all out on stage. You wear like costumes on stage as well.
Mm-hmm.
You wore, so you've worn, so the ones I've seen, a sausage roll costume.
Yeah. So do you know what's really funny is this, not this particular room, but this like studio was like my Fringe venue.
Yeah.
So it's kind of weird to be like back in here, because this room would be like when I was about to go on stage.
Oh, this is the backstage.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool being back here. My opening music was, Moose T Horny.
Yeah.
But not the actual I'm horny, horny.
Yeah.
Just the horns. Like that was my intro music.
I know what you mean.
Beep, beep, and I'd like come out and I'd like go like this to everyone, like
finger guns.
It was like quite a good entrance. 2 p.m.
Yeah. 2 p.m. finger guns.
It goes like a good vibe, but sausage roll costume was in that show. I'm kind of out of the costume phase.
Yeah.
Like I've honestly am so like psycho, where I was always obsessed with like pop stars when I was growing up, and still am, and I'm obsessed with like Madonna and like her phases. So I always view my career as like phases, and I always go, well, there was that initial musical comedy phase, or there was like when you dressed like a mime and did like wank jokes and died on your ass. And then there was that phase of like the tracksuit, and then there was a phase of like post-pandemic wearing suits. And there was a phase of wearing a white vest top. Don't really know what that phase was about. And then now it's like this sort of weird phase of like no costumes, but trying to do like kind of old school musical comedy, like quite traditional. So like slower, like more piano, guitar.
You write your own music as well?
Yeah, like a lot of the time I do. I've got a few like parody songs and covers though for this new show, because I'm doing like basically old music hall songs that like my granddad would have sang, because he used to do music hall back in the day.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's kind of cute, but it's weird. Like, so at the moment, I don't know. This is a kind of uncool phase. I need to try and rebrand it, but I just can't.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's uncool.
Did the sausage roll costume not get stolen as well?
So went missing at a gig, no joke, went missing at an amazing gig that's in the south side of Glasgow called Shiitake Night. So fun. I did their gig and I left. I was like, guys, I left my sausage roll costume. Went back to the venue and said, have you seen my sausage roll costume? And I thought, it's gone. It's gone. Like months down the line. Tried to buy it online. Sold out. Because guess who's buying these sausage roll costumes? Stags.
Stag does, yeah.
So it's like none on Amazon, eBay. There are other retailers. But, I was literally like, oh my God. This whole, because I have a Greg song, and without the sausage roll costume, it just doesn't really work.
You need that.
It just doesn't work. Like I tried it and it honestly doesn't work.
So what comes first, the song or the costume?
Well, it was from, so I don't know if you ever watched like Twitch during the pandemic.
I did a little bit.
Yeah, so I did like a show called The Vibe Show, which was like, I think I did it for almost a year, but it's sort of quite hazy, and I would get up and I would just like go live on Twitch like 9 a.m, and we would write a song on GarageBand, and the whole theme was tracks, wigs and snacks. So I'd like wear a wig, and I made all these backgrounds and stuff as we went, and like the show grew and grew. But what would happen is we'd write a song about something, then I would make like a cool background. I used to like learn how to animate. Roscoe actually showed me, he's like really big on Twitch. Yeah. He told me about the software, and then I would buy the costume, and that would make it like one of the hits of the show. And so I'd do it all the time, and I had loads and loads of costumes by the end. But like after the pandemic, I took some of those songs to sort of live gigs, and some of them really worked. The Greg song, I did a show at the Fringe on, the Blunderbuss.
Yes, yeah. Familiar with it?
It's a bit like, it's a kind of a fun venue, and I did a gig at like midnight, and it was funny because it was not like any other shows I did at the Fringe, because people were steaming. It was really fun, and I mean, in sort of terms of audience interaction.
Yeah.
So I would like taught them all my songs, basically.
And then they would sing them back.
Then new people would come onto the bus, and then the people that were already there would sing them, and then new people would learn them. So it was like an hour of like sing along.
Holy shit.
Which, see, my actual Fringe show, like it wasn't really like that, but that was like a sort of one-off gig.
And in that venue as well, it's like a double-decker bus.
Yeah, it was a
just
top
on the
deck.
top deck.
Mm-hmm.
No, that's perfect venue for that.
So that's funny, like those songs, but that's where all the sort of costumes, like the snacks costumes came about, was actually from Twitch, and definitely took some of it out into the real world. But I'm trying to sort of like put that down now and actually just like try and almost maybe it's being like a people pleaser, do you know what I mean? But like sometimes I'm trying to write something that's a bit more like traditional. Just
you're
now.
in a new phase.
What phase is it? It's cringe, I think. It's not edgy, it's cringe. It's not out there. It's just very like, good morning. Like I've got Good Morning from Singing the Rain, but it's about like going out with a happy hardcore DJ from Canberra slang. So it's like, I've woken up in Canberra slang. But in Edinburgh, I just say I've woken up in a stranger's bed, because that's like a specific Glasgow location,
people are not going to get that.
People are not going to get that, but yeah.
Fucking hell.
So yeah, it's all kind of stuff like that. I don't really know what I'd label it
in a new
as.
phase of your life.
What even is it?
No, but I think it's good that you can do that, because I think you can look back and you go, if you don't cringe when you look back at stuff, it
don't
means
progress.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my second ever gig I ever did. I've got it filmed and I can never watch it back.
I need to see this.
I think I might do it on the podcast one day. Every part of me is like, I'm not ready to watch it yet, but I know how bad I was back then.
What was your subject matter like when you started?
Well, the very first thing I did was talk about how, and I thought this was a kind of funny story between me and my friends of like, I was used to go on holiday. I used to do this like stupid wee thing when I would like, we would be in like a hotel room, and then we would phone other rooms in the hotel and I would pretend I was the reception. So I'd phone them. Like, it was always, we went to a festival in Spain called Benicassim.
I went to that. What year?
2010 maybe.
Okay.
2010.
Did you see the Strokes?
We did see the Strokes.
Did you see the Arctic Monkeys?
Saw the Arctic Monkeys. Yeah, saw them.
I think we went the same year.
We were the same year.
Oh my God,
so we didn't stay in the campsite of Benicassim. We
don't remember anything else about that weekend.
We stayed at a hotel, and someone in the hotel had annoyed us on the way out, like jumped in a taxi rank or something like that. So next second day, we're all just sitting in the hotel room, and I was like, watch this. We knew the room number, so I phoned up and I was just like, hola, this is reception. Please can you bring your pillowcase down to reception?
Oh my God.
And so then we went to the top of the stairs and just watched them hand the pillowcase over to the people at reception. And the guy at reception took the pillowcase and didn't say anything. They didn't say anything either. No one questioned the fact that the pillowcase had been handed over. So this was the thing I used to tell on stage, and then
that sounds good. I mean, I'm laughing at it.
But again, it was definitely a had to be there moment with friends. And then another, maybe like 3 years later, I was on a stag do in Magaluf, and got back in after a night out, and I basically did that, and I phoned like almost every room in this hotel and got them to take the pillowcase down to reception. Because as soon as people answer the phone and just go, this is reception, you just go, this is fucking definitely reception. So
oh my God.
This whole fucking hotel were taking the pillowcases down. And then I started like getting people to leave their mattresses outside of the room. And I thought this was, me and my friends, obviously at the time you were there, this is so funny.
That's so mental, by the way.
It's just a fucking stupid thing to do. And then I remember I went down to the reception like on the second day.
Oh my God.
And I went, excuse me, someone phoned and asked me to bring a pillow. And the receptionist went, oh my fucking God, these people, we don't know who they are. There's someone's phoning around the hotel asking it. And I was like, brilliant. We had two of the neighbouring rooms arguing with each other because they were accusing each other of doing it.
Oh my God, did you get caught?
Literally walked down this like hallway.
Hell, this is like a film.
All these like English lads are like arguing in the hallway. You fucking found me.
I'm kind of imagining this as a film and it's slow motion and they're all like, they're like almost pillow fighting with their pillows, and then you're just like walking out with like sunglasses on, like, you know what I mean, going through them like just like nobody even notices you.
They were friends, so the two rooms knew each other, and they were accusing each other of doing it, and I just was like, excuse me, coming through, as they were like, you fucking found me in the middle of the night. And so I was just like, perfect.
The accents that you're doing, wow, you should do character comedy.
I should do, that's my new English.
Spanish and English tourists
You
on
know what the
holiday.
thing is that it sounded, I remember like my friends being like, you sound so Mexican when you're doing the Spanish accent. And I was like, I'm fucking trying my best here, people. So yeah, I tried to do that on stage. Inside jokes, which you quickly learn, do not work on stage. And I went up and I was like, so then I phoned up and I was like, hola, this is the reception. And I remember looking out, the whole of the stand, the Edinburgh stand, packed, and people just looking at me just like, not funny, mate.
Was it Red Raw, like your first gig?
Raw, yeah.
Was that your first gig?
Yeah, the first one.
Jesus.
Yeah,
that's
fucking.
intense.
And I was up on stage, just going, and so I was such a prankster, and I did this. And yeah, it didn't go well. The final thing, you did a fish and chips blog called Oh My God.
How do you remember that? Did I tell you that? Like
No. I literally do research on all the guests.
Oh, so you went on my website.
Yeah, went on your website. I googled your name, your website came up, I clicked it, and then
Yeah, it says that right at the bottom. I like to keep that just because
I couldn't find the blog.
No, I deleted it because it was
fuck's
very unhinged. So
Very on brand.
I started when I was 18, and I was like, quite into like partying at the time, and I would like write the blog when I was like mad with it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it was like I would interview DJs. I'd go for fish and chips with DJs, and it was actually the concept was pretty cool.
Oh, I didn't realise that. I thought it was just you going and eating fish and chips somewhere.
So I was like would review it, but I would also like meet like DJs and like talk about them and what they were up to and stuff, and like the music scene, like the club scene and stuff like that.
That's actually quite a cool blog then.
But I remember I just started to feel like it represented like a real time, So
it's your oh my God phase.
My oh my God phase. It's just very unhinged. Like I would go out and I'd always wear the same clothes and I'd like sleep in those clothes,
As we do.
So I'd wear like tights and shorts. Do you remember that era of fashion? Yeah. And like a fun shirt, like like Hawaiian shirt, or I don't know, just different shirts. But yeah, I think I deleted it and I was like, and then you know what? For a while after that, I wasn't really sure what I was going to do creatively. And I was still songwriting a bit and stuff, but it's mad how everything's kind of, at the moment, I feel quite clear on like I'm doing comedy. I've got that's musical comedy and stand-up, then I've got music, and then I do like a radio show, and that's very clear. And I feel like when I was doing that blog, I wanted to actually be the one performing, or I wanted to be the one DJing, or do you know what I mean? And I loved doing it. It was so fun. But I feel so grateful to be sort of, just a few years down the line. And
do you put your songs on Spotify?
I did for like comedy songs, like I did a comedy EP in lockdown, but I've not done that recently. I recorded 2 songs of my sort of Gym Crush music project not a few months ago now, like a while ago now, but I've just, the idea of doing an EP release, like promoting that, it makes me like freak out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like I'm always promoting my comedy stuff, so I just feel like, I'm like
distraction.
And I've also got an EP launch in March. You know, I'd be like, you're trying to get us to come to Glasgow Comedy Festival, so I'm like waiting for the right time, but I'm like, will there ever be a right time? But
I think put all your songs you've done, I think record them all, chuck them on Spotify, because I bet when people then follow you on social media afterwards, Spotify is not exactly paying shit tons of money to people, but still you get money out of it.
So actually in lockdown recorded an EP, or like recorded 2 of the songs before lockdown, Tupperware and What's the Vibe, which are like part of my like main set a lot of the time. But I put the 3rd song on this EP because it was in lockdown, that I'd made in lockdown, because I thought an EP sort of need 3 songs, otherwise it's like an A B side, you know how it works with records, right? Yeah. Not that it was ever released on vinyl, but yeah. And then the 3rd track was a song called Banana Bread, which has not aged well. Banana Bread was a lockdown phenomenon, and it is like it's on there forever now, but I think I got an email from the people at the domain saying your direct debit has been cancelled, so I don't know if those songs are going to be up. I don't know what's happening. I'm like,
I think they're done.
I haven't logged into this account for ages since I actually uploaded the songs, but so it might be on there. Yeah. I mean, it's weird recording comedy songs without an audience.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think in future I would actually record.
Bounce it off.
I think in future.
Unless you do like a live album.
That's what I think. It's like, it's weird because like the jokes come from the audience a lot of the time with musical comedy. True. I think probably other musical comedians would probably feel the same, where like you make jokes about the room, about what's going on. So when it's just in a studio, you're like, come on, like in the spaces where they're
everyone
normally...
knows what I'm talking about. Tupperware, everyone. Bring it to festivals.
Yeah, it just sounds mental. So
Yeah, that's a fucking good point.
You live, you learn.
We live and we learn, Amelia.
I'm not very good at like, I recorded 2 songs for my music project and I'm literally like, they're just like in my Google Drive. So you can expect a live album, comedy
Live
song album.
10 years' time.
That's what I was going to say. It will be 10 years.
When you're 19.
Can't wait.
You're doing Glasgow Comedy Festival, anything like that?
Yes, 30th of March at Van Winkle. It's going to be some of the stuff about working in a call centre that I was working on at Scratch Night, and then
Sweet.
some guitar stuff, which my friend says sounds like Kate Nash, which
Okay.
I was obsessed with Kate Nash as a teenager. And then, some singing. So, yeah, it's
Excellent.
written like 20 minutes of the show.
Oh, that's good. That's
so
good
I've got
going.
a month
Are you fucking fine?
to write fucking 40 minutes.
You'd space out some crowd work.
I feel like when you're doing a show that has a concept, doing like 10 minutes of crowd work randomly is mental, but I will be doing
But you fucking, but 100% you will be doing.
That's in the notebook when I'm writing the timings. I've written crowd work.
Yeah, insert ask them what they do for a living.
Like after one song.
Yeah.
So that was Good Morning about Happy Hardcore DJ. And
Yeah.
what do you do? So yeah, are you doing it? Yeah.
No, I can't be fucked.
That's a good way of like approaching life. Just can't be fucked.
Yeah, no, I can't. I tell you what, thanks for coming on, Amelia. This has been fun.
So I'm scared, like this is unhinged, but anyway, just got to go with it. Thank you so much.
Goodbye, everyone. Goodbye,
Bye.
everyone. Thank you for listening.